It's no secret that making manga is difficult. As someone who's personally gone through the pain and suffering, I thought it would be a fun video to showcase what actually goes into just one manga page. Now, believe it or not, producing a 13-page chapter for a manga can take upwards of a month to a month and a half, and that's by working on it all day. If we add that up, accounting for breaks, realistic downtime, and say, I don't know, 6-hour work days, that's approximately 200 hours worth of work just to complete one 13-page chapter. Yeah. That's a lot. That's about the same amount of hours I have on Battlefield 6 for just one chapter. So think about your favorite series that have hundreds of chapters. Yeah. So making a full video dedicated to what goes into a full manga chapter is a bit unrealistic. It would just take way too long for me to document the whole thing. However, what I can do is break it down into smaller bits so it's a bit easier to understand. And that's why we're just going to focus on what goes into one page. So with that, here's what actually goes into creating one page of manga for a series. Now, before I talk about anything with the actual page, this is probably important to mention. Here's what I use to make manga. This is a Yui Canvas Pro 16. I just draw from my desk in my room. Actually, literally everything from this channel, the music, the videos, I just make it right from my room. You don't need like an insane studio or anything to do any of this stuff. Just a little bit of determination and dedication will get you pretty far. Just remember, believe in yourself. Burisuko told you so. So before we even start the page, you have to know the size and the formatting for where it's being sent to. Oftentimes, if you're aiming for like publication or serialization, the company's website will have the information of the page listed under their Mochikomi tab. If you don't know what Mochikomi is, it's basically a free service that all Japanese publishers provide where an editor will review your work either online or in person for free. Please keep in mind though that they only read Japanese language submissions unless it's stated otherwise on the website, like it's an English only contest or something like that. Sometimes they'll do like no dialogue as well. Because I'm self-published though, we don't have to worry about any of that right now. All that matters is that the page fits the website that we're uploading it to. Although I still like to use the formatting of the publication websites anyways, just so that everything looks professional. Here's how I do that in Clip Studio. This is the comic tab, and under that are all the templates and presets that you can use from existing publishers. And I just changed the parameters to what Manga Time Kirata uses for their story comics. So now that you're all set up and it's all loaded in, we can actually begin. I feel like this is a really important part to mention for this video, but obviously AI should not be used in the production of manga. I do not use AI in the production of Maxed Out. Everything Maxed Out related, I just come up with myself. It's really just not a tool that's going to help you. The only thing I can think of it being useful for is maybe like learning how to rephrase a sentence you already wrote. But for creative choices, and especially for pictures, AI just shouldn't be used at all in manga. The whole point is that you should take pride in what you're drawing and what you're creating. So I just felt like I needed to mention that. So many of you know my series is called Maxed Out. It's about a shut-in loser who becomes a singer in a rock band. There's no need to explain it any further right now. It has entirely consumed my life. It is kind of lame. But I already told you all that in the last video, so we know where we need to start. Especially with a slice of life story, we need to understand how our characters live. And this is where our storyboard will begin. I always like to start by taking notes down, literally just anything, text documents, bullet points, dialogue, ideas, anything random that just inspires me. I try to save it somewhere. I'm just going to say it like this. Just get it all out. Read it out loud, reread it, see if it makes sense, analyze the flow. Does everything connect well? Stuff like that. And if you think it fits, then you can actually move on to planning out the page. It's really important to have some sort of guidance when doing this. So study some of your favorite manga and see how they lay out the panels. Where do they place the speech bubbles? How big are the frames and its borders? Things like that. I like to use Yuri. That is really hard to say as an English speaker. I like to use Yuri by Nomori. I like to use Yuri by Nomori and Chikanoga from Oshio for my manga. I'm sure you can see the similarities right here. I just feel like this style works for my story. And you may ask, well, your story is about music, so why not study something like Bocchi the Rock? Well, that's the exact reason I don't. I think it's really important that your manga carries a unique identity, so I try to draw inspiration from other titles that aren't related to music, but not copy them, just so that it feels fresh. All right, now that we've got our vision all settled, we can start drawing the storyboard. This is a lot more time consuming than it seems, and many people might think that my process in this stage is a little controversial, but it's what works for me. Now, this part is all about how you use it and apply it, I think is how I'm gonna phrase that. I love to use screenshots and pictures to match my dialogue, and I want to be very clear, the point isn't to trace anything here. We will redraw all of this from scratch later on. The only reason I do this step is to help my mind see the scenes in application. It doesn't even matter if it's the same characters or if it's from the same show. It can just be from anything, any manga panel, any anime screenshot. It really just doesn't matter. The point is for me to just see, does my dialogue make sense? And does it feel like it belongs? This is post-recording Burisuko here. I think the best way to explain this is just like a manga version of a mood board. And once I kind of place all the references in, then for the actual storyboard, you can just simply doodle over basic characters or stick figures to get the picture in. Again, we're not trying to trace the screenshots or anything like that. It's just a rough estimate, just to give your mind something to look at. Now, I know this seems like a giant time waste, but the storyboard is one of the most important things of anything. There's a reason they do it in a professional environment. This is where we make all the revisions and edits. It's why editors and mangaka have these multiple meetings before every chapter production. The last thing you want to do is decide to change a panel after the whole page has already been completed and inked. It's a huge pain in the ass. Trust me, I've done it. It absolutely sucks. So believe it or not, by making a storyboard, your production will actually go by smoother and faster, even though it probably doesn't seem that way at the start. So from here, our characters are in and we can finalize the dialogue and start sketching things out. This part really does take a while. You have to plan out where the bubbles are going to go and all that stuff. Camera position, where the character gets placed, things like that. And for me, I usually just write out what the background is going to be and I sketch in the characters first. And I do this for a very specific reason. So why I leave the backgrounds for last is because I'm a perfectionist loser. If something isn't exactly how I want it, I will remake it 100 times if I have to. So leaving the backgrounds until the end is just a time-saving technique for me if I want to change something with the characters at some point. This way I don't have to like redraw any backgrounds. You know, it's just a huge mess trying to do that. However, I do like to at least write a note or give myself an idea of what I want the background to be so I don't forget. And then once we complete that, we have to typeset all of the dialogue. So this is basically going through the whole page, in the case of an actual production, the chapter, and just making sure everything is grammatically correct, worded properly, spaced accordingly. So for example, like trying to make sure the text fits in the bubble and has enough room on the top and the sides to not be like hard to look at. You can kind of see how I've placed it here. This is really, really, really important. So don't forget this part. Always double and triple check. Always double and triple check your typesetting. Now we're pretty much almost complete, but there's some final touches we still have to add, which is things like the sound effects. These are really important because it helps enhance the page for the reader and just gives them a better picture of what's going on. And before I call it done, I just read it through one more time to make sure it's exactly how I wanted. And that's it. Sometimes I'll wait like a couple days and check again to see if I've changed my mind on anything. I can't emphasize enough how important those 1 to 2 days are. You can really see stuff through a different lens by doing that. So if you think you finished something, definitely wait like 24 to 48 hours just to make sure. Sometimes I think I'm the GOAT and then I'll come back and realize how stupid what I wrote was. So anyways, there you have it. Now you just have to do that 13 times over again and you have a completed manga chapter. It's definitely a lot of work, but that's what goes into the production of a real manga chapter. Now, I'm sure some professional mangaka probably have some different timelines and processes. Of course, factor in like assistance for the big series and stuff. That's massively going to help with time. I mean, for example, like I don't use any screen tones in my manga because it's just me working on it. So not having to shadow like clothing and stuff really saves time. So you can make slight exceptions to help yourself out or whatever. But before I end the video, I do want to mention something really, really important about making manga. Please take care of yourself. Making manga is really, really hard. Do not force yourself on days where you feel like crap, essentially. Like, I'm human too. It happens. It's impossible to be like full energy every single day. I always try to take at least one day off where I don't work on manga just to recharge. Most of the time I work like 3 days and then take one day off and then work 3 days, take one day off, that kind of pattern. I had to learn the hard way that focusing on manga 24/7 is just really unhealthy and can cause serious fatigue. It's why you always see mangaka go on hiatus and things like that. I mean, we love what we do, so it's hard to put it away, but try to give your body a rest every now and then. I like to stretch or get up from my chair once every 2 hours or so. I'll just walk around in my yard or do something unrelated to manga in my house. And I try to make the environment nice for myself, so I like to put on streams or anime in the background while I work. It's just nice to have it there so that it's not silent. And if I really want to lock in, I'll just play music because sometimes I really do get distracted by those YouTube videos. And as for the music part, say I was writing a sad scene, I'll just listen to specific anime scores or sad themed music to get me in the mood of that page. Anyways, I'm rambling a lot now. The point is just manage your time well and healthfully because manga is very intensive and time consuming work. All right, I think that just about does it for this video. I hope you guys learned something from it. I would have loved to make one for a full chapter, but as you can tell from this video, that is an insane production, which I just don't have time to make right now. I'm in the middle of producing a chapter as we speak, so things are really, really hectic. Anyways, it should be coming out soon, and I have 2 new maxed out songs on the way in June, so I'm really excited to share that with you guys. Again, if you're interested in supporting my series Maxed Out, all you have to do is stream the music on Spotify. It's a tremendous help since my manga is completely free to read. Simply just visit the link tree on any of my profiles and you'll see the link to read it right there. I think I've mentioned it in a video before, but I am redoing all of the chapters. So there's only 3 chapters up right now because I'm going through a refresh and redoing the first 3 chapters again. If you're wondering why I did that, it's because the manga grew and my channel grew a lot faster than I expected. So I just wanted to make sure it was really high quality. Lastly, many of you may not know this, but if you're looking for a video to watch in the background while you're drawing or working on your own manga, I do have a podcast on this channel called Maxed Out Radio where we talk about the manga, we talk about the music, and I have a very special episode coming up where the singer of Strawberry Jam, the band in Maxed Out, is going to be talking with you guys. She has a nice message to share with us, so I'm really, really excited to get to play that in the next episode. I highly recommend you tune in. I always answer your guys' questions. The last time I did it, it was almost like an hour long of answering your guys' questions. So it's a really fun podcast just to get to interact with you guys a little bit more. All right, that does it for this one. Thank you guys so much. 7,200 subscribers, man. Wow, we are growing fast. All right, that's it. I'm done rambling. I'll see you guys in the next video.